What up, you lab rats? This is episode number 30. Wow, we're rolling along. Today we're going to talk about podcasting lessons. Stay tuned. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lab Rat Dailies, the daily show where I talk about all the in-betweens, the major show between me and Kevin. Because I'm bored, right? No, it's because I love podcasting. And a big part of why I love podcasting is because it really self-develops my craft, my people skills, my speaking skills, and so many other skills. And today on this very, very nice Sunday, which is beautiful, by the way, in about 30 minutes, I'm going to sit down with another friend and I'm going to teach him how to podcast. And isn't it amazing? Because there's so many tutorials online, like Pat Flynn's is an awesome one. If you haven't seen it and you're interested in podcasting, that tutorial in itself got me started step by step, really, really spot on with his tutorial, including video. And got me started podcasting, and now I'm basically addicted to it. Like, after I put down this podcast today, I will again have the itch to podcast once more, and it's amazing. It's amazing what it does for just the psyche, because I find that all the while, most of my kind of adolescent life and a little bit of my adult life, I didn't really begin to flourish as a human being and become truly who I am without the help of the podcast mic, because it's, in a way, it's this self-expression. It's therapeutic. It does so much for me on so many levels, guys. And so it's not that I'm this, like, everybody needs to know what's going inside my head, but I used to tell people, and they would ask me during interviews, they would be like, why do you do this? What's your why? And I said, you know what? It makes me a better person. It does. When I can come on the mic and talk about the struggles, the successes that I've gone through in my life, and kind of take myself out of the equation and go, okay, that was awesome, or okay, that sucked, and how can I make that better? And not just for me, but when you change yourself, you effectively change the people around you. And in doing so, in making myself better, and with a podcast being a tool to help me get there, I became a better partner for Kevin. I became a better daughter for my parents, and I became a better friend and cousins to my friends and cousins. I ultimately, I became better. Especially, I became a better sister too. I became a better sister. And I think that is what really matters, because the people around you, right? The people that you spend the most time with, it's very, how should I say, precious. It's precious time, and I'm going to be 29 this year and approaching 30 next year. And so I'm always kind of thinking about the borrowed time that we have here on earth, and that it's really only borrowed time. And so you got to really try to make the most of it, right? So even with the hustle, and even with the business, and even with whatever, I'm always thinking about the people in my life, and making sure that I'm the best person that I can be for them. So there you go. A little sentimental on this Sunday morning. And you know what? Sunday always kind of makes me feel like I slowed down a little bit. I get a little bit cozy, even though I was up at like 6:30 today, because I was so excited to podcast. And I love that kind of excitement and drive that I have, once again, by, something that I'm passionate about. But today, guys, I wanted to update you, because yesterday I was saying, like, oh, I didn't even have that conversation about me doing a daily show without Kevin, and I didn't even have that conversation with him. And yesterday it was super quick. I was like, oh, by the way, I'm doing a daily show. And he's like, oh, that's great. I'm ready to interview now. And I was like, what? So I'm very proud of him. That was over like, it was over like a 5-minute conversation of oh, okay, you're ready now. And I wanted to share that with you guys because um, it was a surprise to me because you know what, he never ceases to surprise me with his um, ambition and with his willingness to try new things and push himself, even though I know that he's uncomfortable. So the reason why I started a daily show is because I wanted to podcast every day, and because I thought Kevin was not ever going to want to interview people with me. I felt like he was never going to want to do that, or even upgrade to that level of podcasting. And so I find myself short-sighted, right? And believing in my partner. And I'm wonderfully surprised that he was able to step up to the bat. And I don't know what that was. Maybe it was the conversation we had before on one of our many excursions to Target, talking about, it just, an interview is just you asking questions and you learning from another person. That's all it is. And that's all it needs to be. It doesn't have to be something nerve-wracking and huge, even though I was definitely nervous when I first started to do interviews ways back, not even like a year ago. And so I'm pleasantly surprised. So you know what, guys? Surprise! Kevin's going to be coming on The Daily Show at some point. We're going to do interviews together, at least one. He's really excited about at least one. And I was also pleasantly surprised that, he's willing to take his brand off his photography and put the clean media stamp on it. And it's not like this is yours, this is mine, but just the fact that he brought that up out of nowhere and said, we need to build up Clean Media Productions, and I can do corporate shoots and all that stuff. And I kind of work under the name of Clean Media. And that to me just shows a sort of another green light in supporting what I'm doing and in my company. So I really appreciate that. So, okay. It's been about 7 minutes. I've given you guys a very long intro on the Sunday morning, but I felt like I had to kind of update you guys on that. But let me take another 5 minutes, okay, to read to you guys one of the articles that I posted on kevinlevu.com, because now not only do we post, his blog images from the wedding and stuff like that, because I handle all the blogging. I now write articles, based upon our experience, our life, mostly kind of like marriage related, relationship related, because I think that's very important, especially in the wedding industry, right? So I want to read to you guys an article that I wrote there, and I also published it on Medium. And if you're not writing on Medium, it's a fantastic medium for writing. And here it is, the 7 things that surprised me from podcasting with my significant other. All right, here we go. And the reason why I'm reading it is because I kind of always appreciate when my favorite authors personally read their posts or their books, in audiobook form, because it feels like I'm right there with them. And I'm right there with them with these words. It's not this, ghost reader or something like that. It really touches me when I can hear Tony Robbins read his book to me. I like that kind of thing, or Tim Ferriss, or absolutely Gary Vaynerchuk. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Since I appreciate that, I'm going to do that. If you guys even care. Okay, so 7 things that surprised me from podcasting with my significant other. It was around August of 2014, and I was restless. I felt lost and unfulfilled with the content I was putting out on my podcast, Love and Entrepreneurship. It was a show that focused on other entrepreneurs and relationships in an interview format at 30 minutes sessions. And it was just like everybody else's, or at least that's what I felt. Fast forward to a particular date night with my then boyfriend, Kevin. It's a pizza kind of night, and BJ's has a deep dish that is a favorite of ours. So B, my nickname for him. I was thinking we could do something together, a new podcast. I want to call it Get in the Lab. I casually mentioned over the gooey cheese and pepperoni. Oh yeah, what would I do? He tentatively responded. You just show up and talk. I want people to see us, and it'll be a good way for us to show some transparency, who's behind the lens sort of thing. All right, it'll be good for me. And with a handshake, yes, we actually shook on it, we founded a podcast that was both audio and visual, talking about building a business together. It's been a little over 4 months now, and we've since got engaged, been featured on entrepreneur.com, HuffPost, and I'll be speaking at Podcast San Diego. Among the many good and bad things we got from podcasting together, here are 7 things that honestly surprised me. Number 1, it put us in the position of pioneering. We're not the first people to do audio and video podcast, but the way we went about it was very different. Not too many people were talking about business and relationships while filming themselves and being new at it too, which is key because it helped us stand out when our podcast game wasn't that strong. With Kevin being totally new to podcasting and the uncertainty he felt about being on camera and on the mic, I think the fact that we were trying to be ambitious for ourselves put the show on another level. But it definitely felt that it was more than we can chew at times. It held us accountable, number 2. Everything we talk about in the show is genuine and are current topics and discussions for us. There's an accountability factor that raises for us because we're saying it publicly. It's also been a great tool for us to check our faults. We can keep walking the walk and talking the talk. 3. It acted as a business meeting. We needed to have those down on paper anyway. When you incorporate your business, regular scheduled meetings need to be documented. Now we could actually have them and have fun with it. Plus, it became a breeding ground for content creation, collaboration, and monitoring our business. Number 4, it made us more empathetic. This is something we lacked as a couple from the very start, but we have been making incredible progress up until this point. This show, however, skyrocketed our capacity to be even more compassionate and patient with each other. Empathy towards people is something that has been practiced daily if you aren't naturally sensitive, which in some very harsh ways we can be. I think that attributes to our loner tendencies and backgrounds growing up. Nevertheless, there were many times I had to lead and be patient with his capacity to follow. And with that compassion, we switched those roles in other areas of our lives, and it was powerful. Number 5, even after being pretty comfortable putting out a show every week, we still challenge each other when our viewpoints don't line up or when something isn't smooth or perfect. But after all this time, we're keener about how we react to situations that would have killed the whole day. We've learned to let the other breathe and forgive each other's short-sightedness for whatever reason there was. It's always comforting to know the moments of frustration are just moments and the rest is an inspiring ride. Number 6, we still have so much to learn. It's great to know that we've come light years from where we used to be, but there's more. At the same time, I'm not in a hurry to get there. The trials and lessons we face today are meant for today, and that's just fine. One thing I'm so grateful for is that no matter who's leading or following, it's a team. So it's more like a scale than a pulley. And Kevin never forgets to reward us. So whether you podcast with or without your significant other, being in a relationship is where some real work can be done for the better. But putting it in the public domain and also calling it content for consumption is another thing. Well, some things should always remain private. The fact that our relationship and business has become a part of the community is really good for us. It reminds us to be sweet, considerate, collaborative, articulate, passive, sharing, loving. The couples 1, 2, 3 tag, or playful couples game, is something that we start off with as if to remind ourselves that while we're business partners, we're also best friends and life partners. And so with each passing week, we learn and grow and sometimes even doubt. But we proceed on because we've developed a trust that says we're in it for the long haul. Let's make it a good one. All right. So that was just a short little thing. And I hope you appreciated that, about 5 minutes. So today on Sunday, I'm going to hit the gym in a little bit. I'm going to help my friend out with his podcasting game. And then hopefully you guys are going to see a really cool podcast, maybe called like Deprogrammed or something from my friend. And then, yeah, we'll see you on Monday. So 15 minutes, we're going to top it out. All right. And good things, guys. So once again, my name is Megan. I'll see you. Peace.